Okay, good day everyone. I'm here to discuss fundamental principle of counting, combination, and permutation. So these topics are needed for us to be able to understand probability. Okay, so let's start with FPC or fundamental principle of counting. So this is defined as if one event can occur in n different ways and if after it has happened in one of these ways, a second event can occur in n different ways, then both events can occur in the order stated in m times n different ways. This is just to give emphasis on the operation that if you're counting the total number of ways, we multiply. Okay, so in this particular definition, there are two events that is defined, okay, M and N. But in any problem, there could be more than two events. Okay, so I'll explain the concept by these examples. Okay, the first one is, if there are 7 doors providing access to a building, in how many ways can a person enter the building by one door and leave by a different door? Okay, so let's define first, what is the events happening in the problem? Okay, so there are two events. One is entering and then the other one is leaving. Okay, so to determine the total number of ways to enter and leave the building by a different door, we have this answer. So bakit siya 7 times 6 equals 42? Okay, that means 7, you have 7 ways to enter the building. The condition is you have to leave by a different door. Okay, so if you have already entered the building using the one door, okay, so there will be 6 choices left for leaving the building. Okay, so by FPC, we multiply. Okay, we multiply the number of ways in entering and leaving the building. So that would be 7 times 6 equals 42 ways. Okay, next problem. How many positive integers of two different digits can be formed from the integers 1, 2, 3, and 4? Okay, so what do we mean by two different digits? When we say two-digit number, we have two place values, ones and tens. Okay? When you say two different, hindi pa pwedeng maulit yung nasa ones and tens place. So if you're given the choices 1, 2, 3, and 4, hindi pa pwede yung mga digits na 11, 22, 33, and 44 kasi nga two different digits. Okay? So how do we determine these two different digits? From the integers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so why do we have this answer? Why 12 integers? First, we consider the tens place. So sa tens place, you have 4 choices, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so if one of the digits will take the tens place, there will be 3 integers left for the ones place. So pwede rin magkapalit. Pwede mauna tayo sa ones place, so you have 4 choices, and then if one of the digits will take the ones place, then 3 choices will be left for the tens place. So pwedeng magkapalit yun digits choices for the tens and ones place. So you have 12 integers. So what are these 12 integers? You have this. Okay, take note na sa mga integers natin na two different digits, wala dyan 11, 22, 33, and 44. Okay, next. How many different arrangements, each consisting of 4 different letters, can be formed from the letters of the word personal if each arrangement is to begin and end with a vowel? Okay, take note. The word personal has 3 vowels and 5 consonants. Okay, 3 vowels, E, O, and A, and then the rest are consonants. Okay, why do we have this total number of words to be formed? Bakit 180? Okay, so we are forming 4-letter word. So 4 letters. Okay, so sa first letter, you have 3 choices kasi nga kailangan vowel siya. So you have E, O, and A. Okay? The next condition is dapat it should end with a vowel. So yung last letter natin, bakit dalawa na lang? Kasi dun sa 3 vowels, one of these will take the first place. Okay, so there are 2 vowels left for the last letter. Okay, next. Bakit 6 dito? Kasi dun sa 3 vowels, may matitirang isa na hindi mapipili plus the 5 consonants. So you have 6 choices or 6 letters for the second space. Okay, or for the second letter. Okay, and then for the third letter, you have, okay, 5 choices. Okay, binawas natin yun, mapipili natin isa for the second letter. Okay, so multiplying 3 times 6 times 5 times 2 will give us 180. Okay, next. How many different arrangements of 6 distinct books each can be made on a shelf with space for 6 books? So if you have 6 spaces, okay, you have 6 spaces, that means dun sa first space natin, you have 6 choices kasi nga may 6 books ka. The second space will have 5 choices na lang because there will be 5 books left. Okay, and then for the third space, there would be 4 choices kasi 4 books na lang will be left, and so on and so forth. So multiplying this is equivalent to 6 factorial. So instead of multiplying 6 times 5, pababa siya times 4 times 3, we apply this command or this operation. So 6 factorial is 720. Okay, number 5. Suppose there are 3 math books and 3 physics books. How many different arrangements of the 6 books can be made on a shelf if books on the same subject are to be kept together? Okay, so ibig sabihin you're arranging 6 books wherein hindi natin ihihiwala yung tatlong math and tatlong physics. Okay, so what is the rule for this particular problem? For this particular problem, if there are items to be kept together, you treat that as one element. So yung 3 math, you treat that as one element. Yung 3 physics, you treat that as one element. Okay, so how many elements do we have all in all? You have 2. In how many ways will you arrange the 2 elements? We have this 2 factorial. Okay? So 2 factorial. And then bakit meron tayong 3 factorial dito? Kasi itong 3 factorial, itong tatlong math, although magkakasama sila, pwede silang magkapalit-palit ng posisyon. Okay? So in how many ways can you arrange the 3 math? You have 3 factorial. Same rule applies sa physics books. Although magkakatabi sila, pwede silang magkapalit-palit ng posisyon. So you have 3 factorial for the number of ways to arrange the 3 physics. So you multiplying this, 2 factorial times 3 factorial times 3 factorial will give us 72. Okay, let's go to permutation. When we say permutation, okay, we consider the arrangement in a definite order. Okay, so may mga ordering yun mga items natin. Okay? So sa calculator natin, may makikita kayo dyan na command na NPR. So that stands for permutation. Okay, so to further understand this concept, let's have our example. So ang first natin, a bus has 7 vacant seats. If 3 additional passengers enter the bus, in how many different ways can they be seated? Okay, first of all, when you see permutation, usually ang mga problems natin dito are on seating arrangements, anything that has to do with arrangement or ordering of items. Okay. So this problem now, we have 3 additional passengers and you have 7 vacant seats. Okay. Usually sa permutation, once you have identified the 2 numbers in the problem, the larger problem will be your n, and then the smaller number will be your r. Okay? So that's 7 permutation r. But to explain this one, bakit naging ganito? This one first, yung 7. So, ibig sabihin, pag sumakay yung first passenger natin, meron siyang 7 choices kasi nga meron 7 vacant seats. Okay, if one of the 7 vacant seats will be seated by the first passenger, okay, the second passenger will now have 6 choices left. Okay, so once he has seated on any of the 6 vacant seats, the third passenger will have only 5 choices or 5 vacant seats left. So, multiplying this 3, we have 210. Ayan, first, second, and then this is for the third passenger. Okay, next. In how many ways can 4 boys and 4 girls be seated in a row containing 8 seats if a person may sit in any seat? So there's no condition kung sinong mauuna, kung lalaki ba or babae or alternate ba o magkakatabi ba yung mga babae, magkakatabi ba yung lalaki. So no particular condition. So in that case, okay, so this is the first seat wherein any of the 4 boys or 4 girls can be seated. So bakit 8? Kasi nga we combine the 4 boys and girls. Okay? So second seat, considering that the first seat is taken by any of the 8 persons. So 7 choices sa second seat and so on and so forth. So this is 8 factorial, or applying your permutation, that's 8 permutation 8. So you have 40,320. Okay, next problem. Boys and girls must sit in alternate seat. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, bakit ganito? Kasi, okay, so girls occupy the odd numbered seats. Considering, okay, ang nag-occupy ng odd number yun 1, 3, Occupying would be ito, 7th, 5th, 3, and 1. Yung mga odd number seats seated by the girls. Okay? Sorry, 1, 3, 5, and 7. Okay. And then yung mga even number seats will be seated by the boys. So you have 576. Pero hindi po ito yung final answer kasi sa seating arrangement natin, pwedeng ang mag-occupy ng odd numbered would be the boys. Okay, so ang final answer natin would be, okay, we multiply that by 2. So you have 1,152. Okay. Let's have this one theorem under permutation. So sabi daw dito, if you are given n elements of which exactly m sub 1 are of one kind, m sub 2 are alike of second kind, and exactly m sub k are alike of a kth kind, and if n is equivalent to m sub 1 plus m sub 2 hanggang m sub k, then the number of distinguishable permutations that can be made of the n elements taken them all at one time is, okay, so we have this formula. How do we apply this formula? Okay, so to further understand this formula, let's have this example. Suppose you have 9 digits numeral that can be formed from the digits was 4 na 6, 3 5, 1 4, 1 3. So applying the formula, okay, bakit naging ganito? Kasi you have 9 digits, okay? You have 9 digits here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sa 9 digits na to, meron kang 4 na 6, may 3 kang 5, may 1 kang 4, may 1 kang 3. Okay, so actually pag tinanggal mo yung factorial sign, pag in-add mo siya, 4 plus 3 plus 1 plus 1 is equivalent to 9. So this is actually your formula. Okay, so solving this, you have 2,520. Let's have another problem. Okay, suppose how many permutations can be formed from the word Mississippi? Okay, so this word has how many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so sa 11 letters, meron tayong 4 na S, 4 na I, 2 P, and 1 M. Okay, so solving this, you have 34,650. Okay, let's go to combination. Again, if you look at your calculator, may makikita kayo dyan na NCR. Okay, that stands for combination. This time, we don't consider the ordering of the elements. Okay? Okay, so let's have this example. So a football conference consists of 8 teams. If each team plays every other team, how many conference games are played? Okay, for every game, ilang bang teams ang involved? Okay, 2. So that is 8 combination 2. So you're forming 2 teams for every game. So that's 8 combination 2 equals 28. Okay, bakit siya nag-fall under combination? Kasi ordering is not important. Ibig sabihin, if the first team will be played by Team A versus Team B, that would be the same kung pagpapalit ko yung ordering, Team B versus Team A. Okay, so magkaiba siya. Ay, magpareho siya. So if pagpalitin natin ordering and then that is treated as one, it will fall under combination. So ano yung mga keywords under combination? Words like in how many ways will you select, in how many ways will you choose, like that. Okay? Going back to permutation, sa permutation naman ang mga keywords natin, in how many ways will you arrange, in how many ways can you order. Yan. Okay, let's have the next example. Next, a student has 10 posters to pin up on the walls of her room, but there is a space for only 7. In how many ways can she choose the posters to be pinned up? So another way to restate this would be, in how many ways can you choose the 7 posters from the 10? Okay? Selecting 7 posters from the 10. So that will be 10 combination 7. You have 120 ways. Okay, next problem. How many committees of 5 can be formed from 8 sophomores and 4 freshmen if each committee is to consist of 3 sophomores and 2 freshmen? Okay, take note. Magpo-form tayo ng committee with 5 members. Ang pagpipilian natin would be 8 sophomores and 4 freshmen. Ang condition, from the 8 sophomores, pipili lang tayo ng 3. And from the 4 freshmen, pipili tayo ng 2. Okay. Ayan. So from the 8, we select 3. From the 4 freshmen, we select 2. So that is simply 8 combination 3 times 4 combination 2. We're choosing 3 sophomores from the 8 sophomores and 2 freshmen from the 4. The operation here is multiplication. So multiplying will have 336. Okay, next problem. Okay, sabi dito, how many committees of 5 can be formed from 8 sophomores and 4 freshmen if each committee is to consist of at most 2 freshmen? So what do we mean by the word at most? When we say at most, pababa yung counting natin. So you have 2, 1, 0. Pinakamarami na makakuha ka ng dalawang freshmen. So how do we do this? Okay? So let's start with at most 2. Oh, sorry. This is so supposed to be at most 2. Hindi ko napalitan. So let's start with 2. Okay, so pag sinabi natin at most 2, pipili tayo ng dalawang freshmen. So since we're forming committee of 5 members, yung tatlo will be sophomore. So manggagaling yung tatlo sa 8 sophomores. So multiplying this 4 combination 2 times 8 combination 3, you have 336. Okay, next we have 1. Okay? So this is choosing 1 from the freshmen. So since magpo-form tayo ng 5, kulang tayo ng 4, so we get the 4 from the 8 sophomores. Again, multiplying this 2, we have 280. And 0. Pwedeng wala tayong freshmen na makuha. Lahat ng members natin would be sophomore. So you have 56. And then, we add these 3 products. So you have 672 committees of 5 members that can be formed with at most 2 freshmen. And then last problem natin would be, how many committees of 5 can be formed from the 8 sophomores and 4 freshmen if each committee is to consist of at least 2 freshmen naman? Pag sinabi natin at least, pataas yung bilang natin, 2, 3, and 4. Bakit tayo nag-stop sa 4? Kasi hanggang 4 lang naman yung freshmen natin. Okay, so let's do this one by one. So dito sa 2, is 4 combination 2, we choose 2 from the 4 freshmen and then 3 from the 8 sophomores to form a committee of 5 members. So multiplying, we have 336. Okay, next you have 3 freshmen. So that is 4 combination 3. And then yung dalawa, magkukunin natin dito sa sophomore. So you have 112. And then we have 4 freshmen. Kukunin natin lahat ng freshmen. Yung isa would be a sophomore. So multiply. And then we add. Okay, so there are 456 committees of 5 members that can be formed with at least 2 freshmen. Okay, so I hope naintindihan natin yung concept ng FPC, permutation, and combination.